जय राधमाधव जय कुञ्ज विहारी
जय गोपीजन वल्लभा जय गिरिवरधारी जय गिरिवरधारी
जय गोपीजन वल्लभा जय गिरिवरधारी जय गिरिवरधारी
यशोधनन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जन
यशोधनन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जन
यशोधनन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जन
यशोधनन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जन
यमुनतीरावनचारी
यमुनतीरावनचारी
जय राधमाधव जय कुञ्ज विहारी
जय राधमाधव जय कुञ्ज विहारी
हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे
जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय प्रभुपाद
जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय प्रभुपाद
जय जय गुरुदेव जय जय गुरुदेव
जय जय गुरुदेव जय जय गुरुदेव
निताय गौर हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल
निताय गौर हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल
हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय गुरु महाराज जय राज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय प्रभु कृष्ण प्रभु जी की जय सुदर्शन वासुदेव प्रभु जी की
Guru Maharaj की जय श्रील प्रभुपाद की
जय और to assemble devotees. Hare Krishna. Thank you Sudarshan Prabhu ji. Thank you Sudarshan Prabhu ji for
Thank you Prabhu, thank you for coordinating and conducting every day in your absence also. Thank you so much for your enthusiasm and hard work.
Team Prabhu ji. Hare Krishna. Thank you. We will chant it 3 times Hare Krishna Mahamantra and welcome Shivamana Prabhu ji and Sudarshan Prabhu ji to our reading session.
To welcome all devotees.
All devotees
Hare
once. Yes.
Krishna, Krishna
All.
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Rama
Rama
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
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 Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Hare
Rama,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna,
Hare
Rama,
Hare,
Rama
Hare
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
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 Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Rama
Krishna,
Rama
Rama,
Hare
Rama,
Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Krishna Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Hare Hare,
Hare Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Rama
Rama,
Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna. Welcome all devotees for our Nityam Bhagavata Seva daily Srimad Bhagavatam reading morning session. So yesterday we have completed 5.1.3. 2 verses yesterday we have completed. So today we will start with verse number 4 onwards of chapter 1. Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tado Jayamudire Nashtaprayeshu Vadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevya Bhagavate Uttama Shloke Bhaktar Bhavati Nashtagi Mugam Karoti Vachalam Bhagavundan Gayade Girim Yat Karvatamaham Vande Paramananda Madhavam Sri Gurum Dinadarinam Sri Chaitanyam Isharam Jnanatimirantasya Jnananjana Shalagaya Chashuru Milidam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamakyam Dadanti Subhadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yudavadakamalam Sri Gurum Vaishnavamsha Sri Rupam Sagarjadam Saganirivnadhanidam Dam Sajivam Sadvaidam Savadudam Varjana Savidam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Vadan Saganalirda Sri Vishaganidamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jaganpade Gopesha Gopiga Kanta Radha Kanta Namastude Taptakanjana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavani Vrishabhanasude Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyacha Kripa Sindhubhya Vacha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Pudine Srimade Bhaktivedanta Swamin Nidinamine Namaste Saraswati Deva Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pachatya Deshakarine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Om Satsang Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Pudine Swami Nidinamine Namacharya Vadaya Nidaya Guru Vadaya Neguru Vadaya Namadaya Nagari Ramadana Hare Krishna Hare Krishna. Welcome once more all devotees. Hare Krishna. Sudarshan Bharati starting reading or start with
Yes, Prabhu, I will read the sloka, Prabhu. Yes. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. Dandot Pranam. Thank you for the opportunity. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 1, Text number 4. Guru Maharaj ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Assembly devotees ki jai.
Hare Krishna.
Samsayo ayam mahan brahman. Samsayo ayam mahan brahman. Dharagara sudhadishu. Dharagara sudhadishu. Saktasya yat siddhir abhut. Saktasya yat siddhir abhut. Krishne chamadir achyuta. Krishne chamadir achyuta. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Abhay Charanarinda Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. The king continued, O great Brahmana, this is my great doubt. How was it possible for a person like King Priyavrata, who was so attached to wife, children, and home, to achieve the topmost infallible perfection in Krishna consciousness? King Parikshit wondered how a person so attached to wife, children, and home could become so perfectly Krishna conscious. Prahlada Maharaja has said, Madir na Krishne paradas sadhova midho abhipadyeta griha vradhanam. A griha vrada, one who has taken a vow to execute family duties, has no chance to become Krishna conscious. This is because most griha vradas are guided by sense gratification and therefore gradually glide down to the darkest regions of material existence. Adhanda gobhir visadam tamisram. How can they possibly become perfect in Krishna consciousness? Maharaja Parikshit asked Sukadeva Goswami to resolve this great doubt. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Sivana Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you for giving this opportunity.
Thank you. Thank you for having come, Prabhu. Thank you for having come. And
yes, thank you. I'm not qualified, but whatever. Since we want to learn the Srimad Bhagavatam, whatever my understanding, we will share. Hare Krishna. So in the background,
Krishna,
we already.
Prabhuji, 1 second. Hare Krishna. Devotees, please tell if there are more than one members from your microphone, from your device. Please inform us so that we can acknowledge and be thankful to them. Okay. Maybe family members or friends, colleagues, if anyone. Okay. All are single. Thank you very much. Prabhuji, please. Sorry for the interruption.
Hare Krishna. So already previous session class, we already studied. We understood about the background of these questions. So this canto, actually, it is discussing about the activities of Maharaj Priyavarta. So in this activities of Maharaj Priyavarta, especially the beginning of this canto, first chapter, Parikshit Maharaj is questioning about Priyavarta's family's attachment. So in the first 4 verses of this beginning of this chapter, there are 2 questions posed by Parikshit Maharaj to Sukadeva Goswami. What were the 2 questions? So first question, Parikshit Maharaj asked us, how could King Priyavarta actually was very, very elevated, Bhagavata Atma Ramaya, great devotee. How can he enjoy a household life? Because both are contradictory. So somebody is enjoying household life at the same time, how he can be so much elevated in spiritual life? Like that, first question. And second question was, how is it possible? That is what today we are reading, the second question. How was it possible for him to achieve such an infallible perfection in Krishna consciousness? He said that Krishnecha Matir Achyuta, despite being attached to wife, home, and children. So we discussed in the previous class also that how somebody is too much attached to the family life, they cannot progress in spiritual life. And especially we were discussing about Grihamedis. And how this case, Parikshit Maharaj was very much surprised to know that Priyavarta, King Priyavarta is a very, very elevated devotee. At the same time, how did he execute his family duties? And how was he so much elevated in Krishna consciousness? So in this way, we can understand that it is like King Priyavarta is like a role model because he executed the kingly duties, his family duties, as well as he was progressing in Krishna consciousness to the highest perfection. So these are the questions, 2 questions posted in the first 4 verses of this chapter. And now coming to verse number 5, Sukadeva Goswami will start replying about the glories of devotional service, how even though one person is in the family life, how he can also perfect in the Krishna consciousness. So here we can go to Srila Prabhupada purport. King Parikshit wondered how a person so attached to wife, children, and home could so perfectly become Krishna consciousness. Prahlad Maharaj in his prayers very beautifully explains all these things, how the attachment, the excessive attachment to wife, children, especially children's. You know, people are so much attached to children, especially Prahlad Maharaj says that they are very childhood. You know? They talk very sweetly, and people are attached in decorating their houses, furniture, and you know, slowly they forget the goal of life. You know, the children talk so innocently, sweetly, and they think this is my world, this is my ultimate goal, to make them happy. So in this way, how like we are going to see Priyavarta, like how Parikshit Maharaj is asking, if somebody is attached to the wife and children and home, 3 things is there. Wife, children, and home. So we know that, day-to-day life, in reality, we are seeing somebody is very much attached to their wife and wife is attached to the husband, naturally. And of course, when the husband and wife are too much attached to the children, they are ready to sacrifice anything for their children. And of course, their home is considered, they say home, sweet home. So home is also considered a place of happiness. So how does he progress in Krishna consciousness? So as I said, Prahlad Maharaj, if you read in the Prahlad Maharaj prayers, you can see so many things he is writing about this family affairs. So he has said, Matirna Krishna Parato Sutava Vito Vipadyate Graha Vrtanam. So a Graha Varta, one who was taken about to execute family duties, has no chance to become Krishna conscious. This is said by Prahlad Maharaj. Why? Because why the reason is said in the next proper rights in the next statement. This is because most of the Grahavartas are guided by sense gratification. So we have to underline the word sense gratification. When people are engaged in sense gratification, then naturally what happens? They actually forget, they don't become elevated in Krishna consciousness. And therefore, they gradually, what happens as a result of sense gratification in family life, they glide down to the darkest region of the material existence. That verse is quoted. Adanta Gobi Vishatam Tamishram Puna Puna Charvita Charvananam. Puna Puna Charvita Charvananam is chewing the chewed. We are enjoying, again we are enjoying. Again we are enjoying, again we are enjoying. So that is the nature of our senses. Somebody may ask, why Srila Prabhupada or the scripture condemns so much about sense gratification? The problem with sense gratification is this, that however you feed the senses, it is never satisfied. It is said that ever fed, never satisfied. That is the nature of the senses. As long as it is you are feeding the senses become very, very powerful and it will demand more and more enjoyment. And there is no full stop for that. Only by spiritual life, by Krishna consciousness, we can put a full stop to sense gratification and enjoy a different kind of taste in executing devotional service. So that is why here it is condemned. We should understand why the scriptures are condemning this sense gratification, because Puna Puna Charvita Charvanana, chewing the chewed. So many years, so many millions of years we enjoyed sense enjoyment, but the senses never get satisfied. So there is one verse also, if you see this, the same verse is actually quoted by actually, I'll just read it for you. Yes. This is King Yayati to Kuru in Srimad Bhagavatam. He is, after, he was enjoying for thousands of years, he took the age from his son to become young, and again he continued to enjoy. Finally, what was his conclusion? King Yayati is saying to Kuru, our desires, however, are never gratified by indulgence. That means our desires are never satisfied by indulging. On the other hand, with indulgence, they only flame up like a fire with libations of sacrificial butter. So the enjoyment mentality, when we are enjoying the senses, it is like the proper rice, like throwing butter or ghee into the fire. But the moment we start enjoying, it is like we are throwing ghee to the fire. What happens when you throw ghee to the fire will burn more powerful. So like that, the sense gratification process is when we throw this butter or ghee, the momentary it may come down and again it will grow up. So it is Sri Krishna compares this analena, fire. He says in 3rd chapter, this kama is like analena, duspurena, it is never satisfied. Two things with this lust or sense gratification. It is like a fire. And second, Krishna is saying that is never satisfied. So fire, what we can do? Fire, it is always only can grow, or if you take a fire extinguisher, it will extinguish it. Okay, if you take a fire engine will come, the fire can be extinguished. Otherwise, as much as there is fuel, it will keep on growing. So there are only two cases for fire. It will grow or it can be stopped. So by the process of Krishna consciousness, we are like using like our fire engine or fire extinguisher. We are extinguishing that analena, that fire, by chanting the holy name, hearing Bhagavatam. Otherwise, what happens every time we enjoy, that fire will start growing more and more. As King Yayati was giving his realization to Kuru, his son. How can they possibly become perfect in Krishna consciousness? So Maharaj Parikshit asked Sukadeva Goswami to resolve this great doubt. Now the two questions are asked by Maharaj Parikshit to Sukadeva Goswami. how a person is actually enjoying family life, even though he was elevated Bhagavata, and how, if at all he is enjoying his family life, how can he be achieve perfection in Krishna consciousness? For these two questions, Shukadeva Goswami will answer in coming to verses 5 and 6 about how he was able to progress in Krishna consciousness, even though he was in the family life. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yuvraj.
Any questions, comments, any doubts, please, devotees, feel free to discuss, or we can go to the next verse. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, can I read?
Wait, Mataji, if anybody has doubt, yes.
I think, Prabhu, there is no doubt. We can read, Prabhu.
Okay, okay.
Hare Krishna.
Okay, Mataji, go ahead.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Sri Shuka Uvacha Bhadamuktam Bhagavata Uttama Slokasya Srimad Charanara Vindamakaranarasa Aveshito Chetaso Bhagavata Paramahamsa Dhaita Katham Kinchidantaraya Vihatam Swam Sivatamam Padavim na Prayena Hinvanti. Sri Sukha Uvacha Bhadamuktam Bhagavata Uttama Slokasya Srimad Charanaravindamakarannarasa Aveshita Chetaso Bhagavata Paramahamsa Dhaita Katham Kinchidantaraya Vihatam Swam Sivatamam Padavim na Prayena Hinvanti. Scroll up also. Translation. Sri Sukadeva Goswami said, what you have said is correct. The glories of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is praised in eloquent transcendental verses by such exalted personalities as Brahma, are very pleasing to great devotees and liberated persons. One who is attached to the nectarian honey of the Lord's lotus feet and whose mind is always absorbed in his glories may sometimes be checked by some impediment, but he still never gives up the exalted position he has acquired. Purport. Sri Sukadeva Goswami accepted both of the king's propositions that a person who is advanced in Krishna consciousness cannot embrace materialistic life again, and that one who has embraced materialistic life cannot take up Krishna consciousness at any stage of his existence. Although accepting both these statements, Sukadeva Goswami qualified them by saying that a person who has once absorbed his mind in the glories of the Supreme Personality of Godhead may sometimes be influenced by impediments, but he still does not give up his exalted devotional position. According to Srila Vishwanatha Chakravarti Thakura, there are two kinds of impediments to devotional service. The first is an offense at the lotus feet of Vaishnava. Lotus feet of a Vaishnava. This is called Vaishnava Parada. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu warned his devotees not to commit Vaishnava Parada, which he described as mad elephant offense. When a mad elephant enters a beautiful garden, it destroys everything, leaving a barren field. Similarly, the power of Vaishnava Parada is so great that even an advanced devotee becomes almost devoid of his spiritual assets if he commits it. Since Krishna consciousness is eternal, it cannot be destroyed altogether, but advancement may be checked for the time being. Thus, Vaishnava Aparadha is one kind of impediment to devotional service. Sometimes, however, the Supreme Personality of Godhead or his devotee desires to impede one's devotional service. For example, Hiranyakasipu and Hiranyaksha were formerly Jaya and Vijaya, the gatekeepers in Vaikuntha. But by the desire of the Lord, they became his enemies for 3 lives. Thus, the desire of the Lord is another kind of impediment, but in both cases, the pure devotee, once advanced in Krishna consciousness, cannot be lost. Following the orders of his superiors, Swayambhu and Lord Brahma, Priyavrata, accepted family life, but this did not mean he lost his position in devotional service. Krishna consciousness is perfect. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes, Mataji, please proceed.
Okay, Prabhu. Krishna consciousness is perfect and eternal, and therefore it cannot be lost under any circumstances, because the material world is full of obstructions to advancement in Krishna consciousness. There many appear to be many impediments, yet Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, declares in Srimad Bhagavad Gita 9.31, Kaunteya pratijanati name bhaktya pranashyati. Once one has taken shelter at the lotus feet of the Lord, he cannot be lost. Hare Krishna.
Will read complete because it's
Yes,
a long
Prabhuji, we can read. We can read complete. Yes.
Okay, so we'll finish it. Okay.
Yes, Prabhu,
Somebody
yes.
to read or Mataji is reading? Hare Krishna.
You can continue, bro. Let Mataji continue this.
Okay.
Okay.
Hare Krishna. In this verse, the word Siva Tamam is very significant. Siva Tamam means the most auspicious. The devotional path is so auspicious that a devotee cannot be lost under any circumstances. This is described in the Srimad Bhagavad Gita by the Lord himself. Partha Naiveha Mamutra Vainasas Tasya Vidyate. My dear Arjuna, for a devotee, there is no question of being lost, either in this life or in the next. Bhagavad Gita 6.40, in Bhagavad Gita 6.43, the Lord clearly explains how this is so. Tatratam buddhi samyogam labate पौरदेहिकं यतते च ततो भूयः संसिद्धौ कुरु नंदना. By the order of the Lord, a perfect devotee sometimes comes to this material world like an ordinary human being. Because of his previous practice, such a perfect devotee naturally becomes attached to devotional service, apparently without cause, despite all kinds of impediments due to surrounding circumstances. He automatically preserves in devotional service and gradually advances until he once again becomes perfect. Bilvamangala Thakura had been an advanced devotee in his previous life, but in his next life he became greatly fallen and was attached to a prostitute. Suddenly, however, his entire behavior was changed by the words of the very prostitute who had so much attracted him, and he became a great devotee. In the lives of exalted devotees, there are many such instances, proving that once one has taken to the shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord, he cannot be lost. Kaunteya pratijanati name bhaktya pranasyati. That fact is, however, that one becomes a devotee when he is completely freed from all reactions to sinful life. As Krishna stated in Bhagavad Gita 7.28, Yesham tu antagatam papam jananam punya karmanam tedvanda moha nirmukta bhajante mam drudavrata. Persons who have acted piously in previous lives and in this life, whose sinful actions are completely eradicated and who are freed from the duality of illusion, engage themselves in my service with the determination. On the other hand, as Prahlad Maharaj said, Matir na Krishne parataha swato va mitobi pradyeta graha vratanam. A person who is too attached to materialistic family life, home, family, wife, children, and so on, cannot develop Krishna consciousness. These apparent contradictions are resolved in the life of a devotee by the grace of the Supreme Lord, and therefore a devotee is never bereft of his position on the path of liberation, which is described in this verse as Sivatamam Padavim. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. It's a big Prabhupada detailed purport. Shri Kumar Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, we'll discuss now.
Yes.
Yes. So now Srila Sukadeva Goswami is replying to Parikshit Maharaj's question. And you can see wonderfully Srila Sukadeva Goswami is answering. First, he is accepting that what Parikshit Maharaj said is correct. Yes, somebody is in too much attached to household life, he cannot develop in Krishna consciousness. But however, here he is saying the glories of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is praised in eloquent transcendental verses by such exalted persons as Brahma, are very pleasing to great devotees and liberated persons. So here you can see that one who is attached to the nectarine honey of the Lord's lotus feet. This is the main key, that even though externally one may be attached to the family life, but one who is actually internally attached to the nectarine honey of the Lord's lotus feet, and whose mind is always absorbed in his glories. That means he's telling more about internal nature. Internally, he may be externally as a grasta or a family person, but his mind is attached to the absorbed in always in the hearing the glories of the Lord, which may be sometimes be checked by some impediments, but still he never gives up exalted position he has acquired. So this is the main thing, that his mind is always absorbed in glories. And also it is said that Srimad Charanaravinda Makaranda Rasa, who is attached to the nectarine honey of the Lord's lotus feet. So because of these two qualities which the devotee is possessing, apparently he may be externally engaged in the household affairs, but he will be always remaining in that exalted position, even though he may sometimes face challenges in Grahastha life. So we'll go to the purport. That is the answer given. That exalted position is mentioned in the verse as Sivatamam Padavim. That Prabhupada writes at the last line of this in this purport. That is the exalted position. So here Sukadeva Goswami Srila Prabhupada is elaborating a big purport, very detailed one, but very self-explanatory, we can say. Anybody reads, they can understand what Srila Prabhupada is saying here. That here he's saying, already we discussed that somebody is so much into hearing the glories of the Lord and attached to the lotus feet of the Lord. Normally, he will not give up his exalted devotional position. Same purport only is written here. Translation is written in the first paragraph. And going down, Srila Prabhupada, the second paragraph is referring to Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. That what are they is explaining that normally when we are performing devotional service, there are two kinds of impediments. So we all know that we are reading again and again in Srimad Bhagavatam that Vaishnava Aprad, it is very, very serious. When we are reciting these 10 offenses against the holy name, the first offense is to blaspheme a devotee who has dedicated his life for propagating the holy name of the Lord. So we all have come to Krishna consciousness, and we have taken our goal to develop Krishna Prema. But what is a big impediment in progressing in devotional services? We should be very careful that we should not offend any Vaishnava. But not sometimes some Vaishnava may not be very much friendly to us. It is possible that when we are in the congregation, somebody is very friendly to us, somebody is not friendly to us, somebody listen to us, somebody don't listen to us. So other case, naturally, somebody is not very cooperative with us, we may offend them. So the recommendation given by the Acharyas is, if you don't like a Vaishnava, you have to maintain distance, but at the same time, you should not offend him. From far away distance, just offer your obeisances or namaskar and move away with your services. But we should not talk ill about him to others. So that is blaspheming, means going to others and telling that this person is bad, this person like that, that kind of quality, it is kind of called as a Vaishnava offense, either physically or mentally. Physically means handling physically, or even mentally, or verbally talking ill about that Vaishnava to others. So that kind of things slowly we need to avoid. If at all, we need to pray to Krishna that at any stage in my life, I should never offend any Vaishnava. So that because Vaishnava aparadha is very serious and it can cause impediment in our devotional service. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is not different from Lord Krishna himself, describes this Vaishnava aparadha to be a mad elephant offense. And Prabhupada writes that how a mad elephant, you might all seen in Kerala, sometimes from the forest, the elephant comes out and the small bakala shops are there. It is coming and destroying, sometimes throwing the vehicles. We are seeing some videos like that. So the mad elephant comes, it will destroy whatever is in front of that. So same way Prabhupada is writing here, if it is entering a beautiful garden, it will destroy everything. Similarly, this Vaishnava aparadha, what it will do, even though one may be an advanced devotee, not a normal devotee, advanced devotee, he will also lose his spiritual assets. But there is one point here to understand. Krishna consciousness, Krishna says, whatever you do in devotional service is never lost. But here we are saying, when you do Vaishnava aparadha, it will become lost. So how to understand this contradiction? So Prabhupada writes here, it cannot be destroyed altogether, but advancement may be checked for time being. Okay, so how is that we have to understand? Like you have earned so much of wealth, or maybe, but next birth, like you are taken, you will lose access to that all that wealth, and you will be like a pauper. And then somebody else, after some time, you are suffering. Then somebody else said, oh, your father has given you so much wealth, it is on your name, but somehow or other, these documents are not with you. Now here is your document, take back. Again, you become a rich person. Same way, our assets are there, devotional assets, but we don't have access to that asset for time being. It is lost from our vision. But after that, some prayachita or something, then it will come back to us. That's what Prabhupada is saying. Krishna consciousness is eternal. It cannot be destroyed altogether, but advancement may be checked for some time being. Again, this is theory. An example, practically seeing that how Prabhupada is giving this example, like Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha, they were exalted devotees, that they are in the spiritual world as a gatekeepers. But by the desire of the Lord, they became his enemies for 3 lives. We know that Hiranyakashipu, Hiranyaksha, Ravana, Kumbhakarna, Dandavakara, Shishupala. So, thus Vaishnava aparadha is considered as one of the kind of impediment devotional service. And however, some Supreme Personality of Godhead or his devotee decide to impede on devotional service. So, there are 2 impediments here. One is Vaishnava aparadha, and second is sometimes the Lord also will do some Leela for certain things, That Leela is explained here, that how this Jaya Vijaya, it was will of the Lord that they offend the 4 Kumaras and they become enemy of the Lord, because the Lord has a desire to have a fighting spirit with his own devotees. Like you want to enjoy the Veera Rasa. Because Krishna is told Raso Vaisaha, he is the king of all rasas. He wants to relish the Veera Rasa with his own devotees. So he made them as their enemies. So Krishna consciousness is perfect and eternal, and therefore it can't be lost under any circumstances. And because the material world is full of obstructions, challenges, to advance in Krishna consciousness. So we know that material world, if you are worshipping God, nobody will object to you. But if you are a little bit serious in worshipping God, surrendering to God, if you want to become brahmachari, even their own parents become opposite to the children. They say that no, you should not go this much serious. We should just worship God and enjoy our sense gratification. That is normal life. If you are like that, nobody will criticize us. But if you are more serious, following 4 regulative principles, getting up early in the morning, chanting Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, trying to take Diksha, then this whole, our own relatives or parents, they may also turn against us, like how Hiranyakashipu was against Prahlad Maharaj. So that's why it is written that this material world is full of obstruction to advancement in Krishna consciousness. There may be appear to be many impediments, yet Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, what happens? He actually declares that in Bhagavad Gita, the very famous verse we know that, Kaunteya Pratijanihe Nama Bhakta Pranashyati. So very, very famous verse 9.31, where Krishna is saying, "Oh Arjuna, boldly declare to this world that my devotee will never perish." And there are a lot of instances in scripture where Krishna protects his devotees in the olden times as well as in modern times also. Olden times, Prahlad Maharaj was protected from his father Hiranyakashipu. Modern times, we also know that we read many pastimes of many devotees in many places of India and also outside India, how Krishna protected in a timely way from any kind of danger. So then again, Prabhupada writes this word, Sivatamam Padavim. So that is what is it? That exalted position acquired by the devotees is word by this word as Sivatamam. Sivatamam means the most auspicious. When you say a word, Shiva itself means auspicious. Lord Shiva means very auspicious. So the word Sivatamam means the most, Tamam means Uttamam. So they say that no, Tamo, Uttama. So Tama means highest and Siva means auspicious. So Sivatama means the most auspicious. So the devotional path is so auspicious that a devotee cannot be lost under any circumstances. This is described in Srimad Bhagavad Gita by Lord himself that Partha Naiveha Namutra Vinashya Tasya Vidyate. That verse is given by here. That for a devotee there is no question of being lost or either in this life or next. Bhagavad Gita 6.40. So these are the references given from the scriptures. And one more reference Srila Prabhupada gives is from 6.43 Bhagavad Gita that Tatra tam buddhi samyogam labate paurva dehikam yatate cha tato bhuya samsiddho kuru nandana. Kuru means Nandana is telling to Arjuna, by the order of the Lord, a perfect devotee sometimes comes to the material world like an ordinary human being. So this is a perfect example of Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada has appeared in this world, even though he has came from spiritual world. He appeared as like an ordinary human being, but because of his previous practice, such a perfect, whoever you can say Bhakti Vinod Thakur or Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj, Prabhupada's guru, it's called as a ray of Vishnu. So, and Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur Maharaj is called as a seventh Goswami. And Srila Prabhupada also is very exalted. They said that he also come from spiritual world based on the instruction of Lord Krishna to deliver the conditioned soul. So such a perfect devotee naturally becomes attached to devotional service. So we can see all these exalted personalities from childhood, they were so much inclined to devotional service. It is not that by accident they came. From childhood, they were practicing devotional service naturally out of great affection and attachment, apparently without a cause. Despite all kinds of impediments due to surrounding circumstances, he automatically preserves the devotional service and gradually advances until he once again becomes perfect. And one example Prabhupada quotes here is about Bilva Mangal Thakur. We all know here that Bilva Mangal Thakur, he was like, even though he was an elevated devotee, advanced devotee in his previous life, but in the next life, what he became greatly fallen and was attached to a prostitute. So these are some of the things, we need to understand. Sometimes apparently devotee may also fall down in the eyes of the normal people, but again he will come back. As long as he is connected with Krishna and Krishna is showering his mercy, he will be always protected and he will advance. Suddenly, however, his entire behavior was changed by the words of the very prostitute who had so much attracted him, and he became a great devotee. Because in the dead of one night, Bilomangal Thakur was running towards this to see the prostitute. It was heavily raining and the whole village was flooded, but he was swimming and he crossed the gate of that prostitute, Chintamani. And then he catch a dead snake and he went to the house inside. And the prostitute he knocked the door and the prostitute opened the door. And the prostitute was surprised and shocked. At the dead of the night, it is raining and flooding. You are so dare that you are coming out of the whole house to meet me. If you had so much courage and guts, and so much eagerness to perform devotional service, you will attain the lotus feet of Krishna. Like that she told. That word struck his heart, and immediately it became transformed. He renounced everything and he left to the towards north to Vrindavan to progress in Krishna consciousness. There he met a lady again on the way. Maybe we all know the story. And there he was again attracted by that lady. So he went to her house, and the person, his husband, also very exalted devotee. So being seeing a sadhu, he given accommodation to him. And he asked her that I am so much attracted to your wife. And the devotee also told, okay, his wife is a devotee, sadhu, fulfill his desire. Then when the lady came, he asked, Bilomangal Thakur asked that, please give your hairpin. And she given the hairpin, and he plucked his tooth, like he struck, inserted the pin in the eyes, saying that because of these eyes only, I am getting so much of attraction. So let these eyes no more be there. And he became blind. But Krishna, so every time he goes to Vrindavan, he was blind. Krishna personally maintained him. And every time he sings bhajan, Krishna used to personally sit in front of him and release his bhajan. Such a great exalted devotee, Bilomangal Thakur, and so much his bhajans are very famous. So apparently, so many things we can see, but a devotee, he will regain his devotional service because of his past credits are always there. Like he was already practiced so much. So there are so many such instances proving that one who has taken the shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord, he cannot be lost. Kaunteya prajani namai bhakta pranashyati. So it is said that even in boxing match, when you will be declared as defeat, when they will count like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like that, the referee will count. The moment you will get up, then you will not be declared. If you refuse to get up, then you will be declared as defeated. Similarly, sometimes devotional service in devotee may fall down, but he will put efforts again to get up. The Lord will make him successful. But if he will refuse to get up, refuse to do the devotional service, then he will be declared as a complete defeated. Okay, so that we should understand. So sometimes maybe it is difficult for us to perform devotional service on the path because of our family issues. But you should not fall down. You should try to get up and practice again. Then Krishna will definitely make sure that our devotional this one is getting perfected. So the fact is, however, one become a devotee when he's completely free from all reactions to sinful life. So we have come to the last section of today's purpose. That Prabhupada is saying, how we can become perfect. That one we can become perfect only. That verse is quoted 7.28, the knowledge of the absolute, chapter 7. Yesham tu antagatam papam jananam punya karmanam te dante moha nirmukta ye bhajante ma dridavataha. Who can become perfect or who can become unalloyed devotee of the Lord? Persons who have acted piously in previous life and in this life, whose sinful actions are completely eradicated and who are free from dualities of illusion. Sorry. Enjoy themselves in the service, in my service with determination. On the other hand, Prahlad Maharaj is saying that Matirna Krishna Parato Satava Vito Vibhatyate Graha Vratanam. A person who is too attached to materialistic family life, home, family, and wife, children, and so on, cannot develop Krishna consciousness. So these are two contradictions. One is Prahlad Maharaj is saying like that, and there Krishna is saying that Yesham Antagatam Papam Jananam Punya Karmanam. So these apparent contradictions are resolved in the life of a devotee. How it is resolved? By the grace of the Supreme Lord. So here the word important is everything we need the mercy of the Lord. So Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur prays that when I leave my body, if I come to you, in your court of justice, I will fail, definitely. So when you go to the court of justice, definitely we will not be qualified for Krishna. But in your court of mercy, I will definitely pass. Like that he says. That means if Krishna is very strict, we cannot actually go back to him. But when Krishna is merciful, then it is chance that we can go back to him. So that's what the devotee, by the grace of the Supreme Lord, the grace is very, very important. Whatever we are chanting, we are reading Bhagavatam that is to attract his grace only. And once his grace comes, then nobody can become a failure. And therefore, a devotee is never bereft of his position on the path of liberation, which is described in this verse as Sivatamam for him. So, by the mercy and the previous devotional service, by both, even a person is in the Grahastha life, he can become successful and become perfected in Krishna consciousness. So that is the answer which Sukadeva Goswami is giving here for Parishit Maharaj question. And the verse number 6 also will be related to the same discussion about the answer to Sukadeva Goswami. The answer to Parishit Maharaj. Hare Krishna. So any questions? Anything?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Prabhuji, as a Bilvamangala Tagore, his previous life, he was a great devotee. So next life, he became as a attraction of prostitute. But when the senior devotees, some lectures I heard that they said, when this life, if we do any devotional service in our account, it will be safe.
Yes.
Then next, we will start from that only, na Prabhuji?
Correct, Mataji. That is what the whole purpose is about that line only. So whatever devotional service we do, Krishna says that it will never be Salpam apyasya dharmasya trayato mahato bhayat. Even little bit of you do, it will be never lost. And also Suchinam Srimatam Gehe Yoga Prashta Prajayate. Krishna says that I will make sure that whatever he will resume from where he has left. That is correct. But now there are two reasons also why you will not get that. That is why offending a Vaishnava. That is what Prabhupada is writing. And the Lord's desire. So for offending a Vaishnava also, what will happen? You already that credit is there, that bank balance is there, but you not have access to your bank balance. Understand, Mataji? Sometimes your bank is blocking, blocking your account, right? Sometimes for some reason, your account is being blocked, right? And then you have to put application, then there is a verify your password or so. And they will release it.
Prabhuji. Now I understood, Prabhuji.
Yeah, like that. That will be there in your quota, but because of your Vaishnava Aparad, you will not get access to that wealth. And you may be diverted for some times or face some difficulties. And after some time, when you have that, you undergone that reaction, you will get access back to that same where you left, and again you will resume.
Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yes. So offending a Vaishnava, how can be pacified? By undergoing appropriate difficulties over a long period of time. That is a prayashita. Or second is, it can be quickly removed by the mercy of a Vaishnava. If that Vaishnava will forgive, you go and ask forgiveness and he will forgive, then immediately it will be removed, that access. Or you will take some more time to go for some difficulties, then the access will be, you will get back your spiritual credits again. And second is, reason Prabhupada writes is because of the Lord's desire, and example is given is Jaya and Vijaya. So that is because he want to teach some lesson. So he will use somebody, like sometimes for Arjuna also he put him into illusion for teaching Bhagavad Gita. Like that for Jaya, Vijaya and all, also he put them. So for these two reasons, you will sometimes lose access to your spiritual credits, either by offending a Vaishnava or because of Lord's desire. Is it clear, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Welcome. So it was a very nice question. Mataji attended very carefully and noted this point and asked this question. So because of that, we got a little more clarity on the subject. So anybody else has any comments or doubts, please feel free to ask. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Today's Ekadashi, so please perform maximum possible devotion services. And I have a request. Of course, those who are from Kanaya days, we can give them association. We can take care of them. Those who are away, I hope all are trying, at least trying for physical association with devotees. It may be far away from your place, but once in some months at least, try to visit his center. I think within some tens of kilometers, I think you will find in India.
building.
So that is what one request I have on this Ekadashi day, because staying with or associating with chanting together, listening together, doing bhajans kirtan together, it advances us. Hope everyone will try for that, especially those who are away from Kanaya Desh, because we can't physically take care or help, or we cannot take their association. We all are eagerly waiting to meet and take association of those who are away, but with some people it may not be possible because of this geographical region differences. Anyway, very happy that at least 10 to 15 devotees are reading every day. It's a great mercy by the Supreme Lord. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. This Anil Kumar Prabhu is Abbasi Anil Kumar Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Anil Kumar Prabhu ji. Can you hear?
Hello, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. From
Ah.
Salmia.
Okay. Understood. Thank you very much.
Okay.
New devotee.
Hare
New
Krishna.
devotee.
Eh?
First time reading session, I think.
Yeah, I think here in this session first time. Prabhu.
Can introduce Prabhuji then to our other devotees.
Definitely. Prabhu, Salmia, which sector you are staying?
You're most welcome, Prabhuji. Every day he can join if possible. Time permits. He can join every day. Hare Krishna.
Prabhu, we are not able to reach him because that Malayalam Bhakti Vrusha group, no? That was
Yeah.
There was some technical error. So we
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu. Thank you very much, Prabhu. You attended Salmia Hall programs or some other programs before?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Anil Kumar Prabhu is coming for our satsang in Aboli.
Ah, okay. This Anil Kumar Prabhu. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you.
No, first time reading session. So
reading session first time. Yeah, it's okay. It's Ekadashi, the auspicious day, Eid holiday.
Yes. No, whenever, even if half an hour, 10 minutes only, you are most welcome.
Prabhuji, you are retired and relaxed. We are working. So only homemaker Madajis, those who have shift duties and free, and sometimes people you can join.
Not every day, whenever it is possible, to join and
it's okay, Prabhu. We have evening classes also. Malayalam classes are there, and Srivana Prabhu's English classes are there, and Antam Prabhu's reading classes are there. Morning Japa and reading are there. There are many. We are providing opportunities, and we are still ready to provide opportunities both for offline and online, in all Indian languages, and of course almost all common Indian languages and in English. And devotees can come up, or any one of you can take up any mission of like Bhakti Vrusha or reading sessions. Welcome. We'll arrange time, day and time accordingly. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Raji.
Hare Krishna, Srivana Prabhuji.
Anything to add? Anybody?
Hare Krishna. Yeah, Prabhu, any questions or comments? Devotees are feel free to ask. Otherwise, it's okay, Prabhu. My side, Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you for giving this opportunity. Hare Krishna.
Nothing.
Thank you, Prabhu.
So we'll.
Prabhuji, one thing I want to say is that when we started this session during Corona, and then we are about to stop this. At that time, I was lucky to work on alternate days. And I thought, why to stop this? Maybe we will try to read Bhagavatam regularly. So Lord is happy with the efforts of regular devotees like Sri Kumar Prabhu and Matajis, especially Ambli Mataji, Ratna Mataji, Rima Mataji, and from office, Teshvi Mataji and Anu Prabhu, they are joining Shankarnada Murari Prabhu. And then Saturdays, we have Association of Sivagunakshana Prabhu. I'm not mentioning everybody's name because we all know. So please continue this effort. Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya.
Yes, whatever.
Srimad Bhagavatam is especially advised to the mankind for Kali Yuga, so that we should not forget. And please parallelly refer and read and understand Bhagavad Gita also, because at least on an average, at least one sloka of Bhagavad Gita is quoted in every purport on an average. So we are very fortunate to read, listen, and understand about Lord Krishna. So we should pray and request the Vaishnavas, Acharyas, and the Lord to continuously bestow their mercy upon us. Because as Sivan Prabhu told in the prayer of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, who is recognized and described as seventh Goswami, he says that in your court of justice, if Bhaktivinoda Thakur will fail, means what is our position? Okay. So in their court of mercy, maybe we will have some favorable judgments. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. There is Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Okay. So thank you, Shivana Prabhuji, for your explaining, and you are lucky to hear this.
Thank you, bro. Thank you for giving the opportunity. Hare Krishna. I am not qualified, but still.
So Prabhuji will chant it 3 times Hare Krishna Mahamantra for Shivana Prabhuji, Sudarshan Prabhuji, as well as all the devotees.
All the devotees, Prabhu, all devotees, especially for Shivana Prabhu's for time and efforts. And
yes.
Hare Krishna.
So at present today, for everybody's spiritual progress, we will chant it 3 times Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Hare Krishna, Krishna
Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare.
all devotees who are joining, please do join every day. Those who are available, please join every time. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. While in the session, Prabhu?
Yes, Vaishnava.
Prabhu will offer Vaishnava Pranam and
Yeah. Vancha kalpatarubhascha kripa sindhumecha patitana papnebhyo Vaishnavibhyo namo namaha. Ananda Kodi Vaishnava ki jai. Bhagavatam ki jai. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Guru Maharaj.